we're like so far away from where I would want education to be in society in like every way. You know what I mean?
I agree completely. Yeah, there's too much. I hate how much. I think we've talked about this maybe on this podcast before, but just the focus around labor and work in the education system is kind of fucked up.
Well, that's really
It's kind
its
of cringe.
actual goal is to make you like it's a train into the workforce is what school is.
Yeah, which is a lot of the reason why the Republican Party tries to hijack it so badly. Um, they want to do their whole. There was the whole patriotic education thing, where they can, fully double down on just turning people into a bunch of like worker ants or whatever.
Yeah, and covering up the government of the country's crimes against black and
Yeah,
indigenous people in
yeah,
particular.
yeah. I'm just so astonished at the things that I keep learning from like reading books rather than like just knowing about things from what I'm taught in school or online. It's kind of crazy how fucking whitewashed everything was. I mean, I live in a what was a Confederate state. So if it was whitewashed, up there, and I don't know if your location is public, but in the north,
In the
if it was
north.
whitewashed there, you can only imagine what it's like in bumfuck Alabama. So
Yeah.
so yeah. I was just learning about Barry Goldwater. That
Yeah.
guy is a fucking lunatic. um, I didn't realize how suppressed the voting population of black people was back in the day. Like I understood like voter suppression, but I didn't know that like, across the South only like 2 to 3% of black people could vote. I had no idea. And then and then, how many black people were just outright murdered and killed for no reason. It was just horrible. And like they don't tell you those things. They say slavery, and then that was bad, guys, and then we had the Civil War, which by the way was about states' rights, and then we so they don't really teach you about how atrocious everything was, which is pretty horrible.
Yeah. And like it's so frustrating. We could probably talk about this for hours and hours, like the problems
Yeah,
with school and all that.
yeah.
But
I'm
like
gonna become a 16-year-old anarchist again, school abolitionist.
I mean, they literally teach you like they literally teach the story of like American white supremacy as if it's in the past.
Yeah,
It's like, oh,
right.
we fixed the problem already. Like, and then
Yeah,
you
but
have
then
all of these
also,
kids making these arguments of like, oh, racism's over, Black Lives Matter, making a big deal about nothing. Oh,
mhm, yeah, we're kind of covering all the civil rights bases. We got the gay
yeah.
people, we got the black people, we got we're really hitting everything.
Did you see the article that came out recently about like there were like 200 corpses of children found underneath a school in Canada because
I think
like
I did see something like that. What was that?
yeah,
I didn't click past the headline,
basically
so
like
say that.
the school systems in the uh I don't in Canada, I will say. Um when they were like colonizing and everything and basically genociding the indigenous people there were just so
Mhm.
brutal, basically torture centers for these kids and
Yeah,
stuff. And it's like the stuff that you read in articles like that is just like wow, like this is
yeah.
horrific.
So beyond anything that you would learn in a school.
Well, yeah, cuz it's
Which
like yeah,
I
it's
feel like we
so
would have a lot. I feel like we would have a lot less. Republicans in our country if maybe we talked about how much we really fucked over people of color in the past. And it would be a lot easier for more people to grasp how that carries over to to the modern day. Um,
Right. And
for
like,
for a lot of people, because I feel like a lot of people just grow up thinking like, oh yeah, we did some bad things in the past, and there were a few people that said the N word, and then but now nobody says the N word anymore, and racism is over. It's it's difficult for people to really grasp like what racism means.
yeah. And I think part of this is literally because, like, we're not supposed to think socially or structurally or even historically about issues. Like, that's not the
Yeah,
way that your average person is kind of taught to think about stuff. It's more supposed to be like naturalistic, kind of essentialist, like justifications for the way that things are. Because, like, I think this has something to do with, in a broader structural sense, the way that the humanities or like the soft sciences are kind of
I was
underprivileged
gonna I
to
was gonna say
like
that. Yeah,
hard science and like biology and all of that. So
right.
everything in the popular mind becomes reducible down to like physical substances. But I do
Yeah,
not
yeah,
think that that is a good way of looking at social problems at all. Like, it just leaves you
yeah,
blind.
yeah. I was gonna say just that about the soft sciences. Are we drinking from the same cup? I'm sorry.
Are we?
I just, I, it's kind of similar. We got
We got the
the
lines.
little, yeah, we got the ridges. But anyway, sorry, I got super distracted just now. But yeah, in school, we learn about math and language and biology, but there's no like sociology class
Yeah.
in the fifth grade or anything. Like I feel like if we taught some more of the soft sciences and really dug in to like what the human mind means, and maybe some philosophy and that, like I feel like we would raise generations of much more open-minded, critical thinking youth. I think that'd be amazing for progress.
Yeah, but it's as if that's just not the system's goal at the moment.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
A lot of things kind of boil down to that kind of thing. Like, what is the motivator? And that's why, to me, it's like you can include in any analysis a criticism of capitalism to some degree, because it's like, if we have this whole country that is very based on this individualized dream of like profit motive kind of goal, like around like everything that you do and that kind of methodology, then obviously you're going to have all the other systems like education and all of that kind of serving that funnel.
Yeah. I mean, it is on to a bit of the contrary. It is super important to like teach people that their choices matter. That what an individual is. Like working is probably important. You have to create something to generally to get along. Like I feel like some of those lessons are super valuable, but I think we just go like way too far with it, with it all.
Well,
So
even
so yeah,
that, like, they don't teach kids personal finance either in most parts of the country, it
yeah,
seems like. Like,
right.
they don't even teach you how
I
to
Yeah.
survive in the system.
You're kind of just thrown out there, which further which increases the gap between the I guess the wealthy and the non-wealthy, because the parents that have to work 9 to 5, both parents don't have the time to sit down their kids and tell them how to file their taxes or like fill out a job application,
Yeah.
so the people that are wealthy and have that time already are gonna be able to teach their kids, and their kids are gonna go on to be super great, but then the poor people are just fucked again for another generation. So we need to provide a lot more of that to kids, like without exception. which some schools do a pretty good job of. Over the summer, even though we're in bumfuck, red state, whatever, my school had a free summer lunch program for any kid who wanted to come there. I don't think you even had to be enrolled. So that was super good, but I think we need a little bit more of that from an educational standpoint as well, so that we can lessen that divide between the rich and the poor, or even just the moderately wealthy and the poor.
True. This is interesting. Cuz I do feel like I don't know. Maybe I'm kind of more I don't know. I don't really know where I want to go with this. Cuz I just feel like I'm more like I don't really know the word I'm trying to search for. But I will get kind of esoteric with things and be like deep in the analysis where I come to the conclusion that like we need drastic change to fix everything. Whereas I feel like
Yeah.
you are more reform oriented. But
I think that's been borne out
yeah,
over many conversations between us, which I think makes for a super interesting kind of foil situation, um, which always makes conversations fun.
yeah, it's not a bad thing whatsoever.